Hello. So, my name is Golda Kai. I am a connected individual. People would say psychic, medium, all of those things. But I just like to just say I'm connected and I love to do readings for the collective and for others. And yeah, so today is September 3rd, is Labor Day. And this is interesting. This is actually the third time that I've had to try to do a reading. Every time I've done a reading for the past week, the videos have gotten lost. I haven't been able to upload. So third time's a charm. And I feel like this is the message that's supposed to be presented. If those two did not work out for whatever reason, then they were not meant to be. And this is the message that is meant to be presented to the collective and for us to grow with. So when I did shuffle, two cards had fell out, and it was the Queen of Cups and it was worry card. It was the Five of Cups. So I feel like, what are we worrying about? What worry is happening right now for the collective? And why are we moving in this? Why are we not moving in a Queen of Cups energy? Because I feel like you're not in a Queen of Cups energy if you're worried, or maybe you are too emotional, and maybe you're just moving so much in your emotions that you're presenting worry to yourself. Maybe that truly probably is. I think that's it. We are really moving in emotional energy. Feminine emotional energy that creates worry, because a lot of times when you are so emotional about things, you don't think about things and you don't use your logic and say, well, wait, why am I feeling this way? I mean, if this, that, and the other has already presented itself, and I know for sure, like 2 + 2 is 4, why the hell am I worrying about whether or not 2 + 2 is 4 if they already told me that, if I already knew that? So let's go into the reading. Whew. So the first card that we pulled is the Seven of Wands. Now, this is in the Thoth deck, they have this as velour, right? But when you look at this card, you see that the wands are held back by this staff, right? Now, this staff, it actually reminds me of Moses. When I think Moses, I think the Bible. When I think Bible, I think tradition. And it feels like your magic is being held back by traditions, by beliefs, by old beliefs, that beliefs of what is normal, what is suitable, what you should be doing. Those kinds of things are holding your magic back. Look at all that is behind it, all of the magic behind it, the fire, the flames, the freedom is all behind that. But what's holding you back are your thoughts of the past, are your thoughts of tradition, of normality, of what society has brought to you that is normal and that is suitable and that suffice of what your life should be. You should not let society determine what your life should be, because when you do that, it does hold you back. 7 is a spiritual number. So you should have this spiritual light within you, and you do, but there's something holding you back. There's something telling you that, no, you can't do this. No, this is not real. No, this is not what you're supposed to be doing, because guess what? That's what they said. And you cannot go with things like that. All that's going to do is hold you back and suppress the evolution that is happening. And the next card that we pulled is the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is the queen of nature. She's the queen of change, the queen of action, the queen of magic. Because I associate your wands with your magic, also associated with your works. She is the queen of works and of making shit happen. Look how dominant she is. And she's got, like, what is that, cheetah with that, or leopard? Leopard. She has a leopard sitting beside her. These are very, like, dangerous animals, you would think, right? But she has it sitting beside her with her hand on its head, comfortable. She has her staff in her arms. She is dominant. She is the one. She is the one that has control of her life. And that is what you need to do. You need to take control of this physical realm that you live in. And when I say that, I don't mean like, dominating people, but taking control, like something as simple as having a day planner and planning out what you're going to do every day so that you don't feel that you're behind. Because once you feel behind, then that feels like you're allowing time and space to control you. You're allowing time to control you, physical to control you, because time is kind of sort of man-made to me. Our time frames, our hours, our minutes, our seconds are man-made. And so you're allowing the hours, the minutes, and the seconds to control what you're doing. No, you have to take control of that. You have to move through this like the Queen of Wands, the queen of your works. You have the power, the ability to move through it. So let's go to our next two cards. The next two cards that we pulled, I'm going to have them go together side by side because they're sitting by side in the spread that I have. But your first card is the 3 of discs. So in the Thoth deck, they have called this works. Whew. These are your works. These are your works to your goals, right? And I feel that this is a time to be selfish about your goals, to be egoic about what it is that you're doing, because you have to be confident in what you're creating. No one is going to make you have your dreams but yourself. The 9 of Cups is about your wishes and your dreams. It's the wish card, right? This is the manifestation card. This is about what you're trying to manifest. And you have to do this for yourself, honey. You can't let anybody else control what's happening. You have to take control. And also, you cannot look to outside sources for what you're doing. I feel at this time, you have been given so much from the divine and from your guides, and you know what it is that you want to do, that you can selfishly work on your goals right now. Like, there is something denoted with this card that is a little egoic, because it's time to ignore others. Ignore outside opinions, ignore outside sources. It sounds kind of crazy. Like, why wouldn't I take someone else's opinion? Like, why wouldn't I listen to someone's guidance? It's not saying that. It's because I feel that at this time, I'm feeling it in my heart, actually, so much that you know more about what you want than anybody else does. You know where you need to go more than anybody else. So to listen to other people about your dreams and about your goals, that only diminishes your dreams and your goals, because a lot of times people will come in and they will tell you things that don't help you because they have their own shit they fucking working on. They got their own shit they dealing with. And so when it comes to other people or outside sources, you have to just really close that off, and you have to work for your dreams and your goals on your own without hearing anything else that anyone has to say, because you know the steps to take. These are your dreams, your goals. You have been wishing for this stuff and dreaming about this for years. Like, for years. 2012, 2013 was a time for a lot of people that started the road to where they are today. And a lot of these things in 2016 was when you started to really realize what your wishes and your dreams were. You started to work towards these things. 2016 was a transformative year where you said, this is what the fuck I really want. And so now you have to work for that. So nobody knows your dreams and your goals more than you do. So it's time for you to work for that yourself. The next card that we pull is the 10 of Wands. The 10 of Wands is a very heavy card, okay? They call this oppression in the Thoth deck. This is about a burden. This is a burden that you carry. And I feel that when you have an evolution, when you have an activation or an awakening, it can become burdensome because it's hard to deal with that energy when you are seeing that you are letting go of who you once were to become someone new, someone evolved, and also it's responsibility that comes with that. And the 7 of Wands, we see one staff holding this magic back. The 10, look how amplified that is. You got 2, right? And look at all of the magic that's been holding back. You have almost doubled the amount that has been holding back. You've added 2 to what has been holding back. That's a lot. And what I really feel from this card is that this burden is something you have to work through. You have to really say to yourself that I wanted this in my life. I chose to say, please show me the way. Please evolve me. Please change things for me. And when you ask the divine for that, the divine said, fine. I'm going to give you this guidance, right? I'm going to show you the way to a new life, but it's up to you to do that shit. And if you see that it's happening for yourself and you start to feel burdened, you start to feel oppressed by the old ways, you have to learn to let go. The reason why you have to learn to let go is because you have been given a lot of divine guidance. Like I said, 2012, 2013 was the kickoff. 2016, it was transformative for many people. That is when we became activated and awakened. And when you knew what it is that you wanted and you knew what you were going for, and where your guides were all around you, angels were all around you that year. And then you pushed into 2017, where it was a really fucking tough year, but you realized so much about yourself and about your strength and about your path. So now as we enter this 11th year, we are walking it and living it and talking it. And that shit can be tough. It can be very difficult, because especially when sometimes you're like, damn, I kind of want to revert back to what I was because it was easier that way. But it's not going to be easy. And if you want something easy, then lay the fuck down and you can go ahead and be part of whatever they want you to be a part of, because that's the easy route. If you want to really be evolve, you really want your dreams, you want your goals, you want to live a peaceful, happy life, it's not going to come easily. Period. Anything worth having is worth working for and worth sacrificing for. It's worth saying, I'm willing to let go of shit if I want to really be that person I want to be, if I want to be evolved, if I want my business, if I want my goals, if I want my dreams, if I want my love, if I want my family, all of that shit. If you have seen something, if you were presented something, a wish, a dream in 2016, especially if you started to be presented with that and you feel burdened by what is happening right now, you have to push through because you have the Ace of Swords energy with you. You have been given so much. Now, the Ace of Swords, swords are associated with air, right? Air signs. Also associated with your solar plexus. Your solar plexus is your strength. Your solar plexus is your confidence, your self-esteem. It's associated with your mental body, which are your thoughts. Your thoughts help create, correct? So when we talk about this Ace of Swords, right? Look at even yellow is sitting right here. This is your strength. This is your strength to push through whatever chaos or whatever feelings that you are feeling right now. Any trepidation that you are going through, you have to push through because you have been given all of the knowledge already. And I feel that it is time that you have to stop sitting on your guys. Sylvia, I can't remember her last name, but she's a famous psychic. She was always on like Montel Williams and all that. And I read a book of hers about connecting with your spirit guides. I read this book in 2016, and it always stuck with me that she said that your guides do not make you psychic. Your guides are not your abilities. You have your abilities. Your guides will help you through. They will guide you if you really feel like, okay, I don't know where to go with this, or if you feel like it's too much for you, but your guides do not make you psychic. You are psychic. You are that person that holds this energy. And so to always lean on them or to depend on them for your abilities or for your light work is submissive, and it makes you a weaker person. It makes you a weaker light worker. You have to know that this is inside of you, and you have to have that Ace of Swords energy that they have really presented everything they can to you. They've given you your strength. They've given you your guidance. And they are even saying for everybody, they're saying right now that we've given it to you. So take that sword in your hand, and you need to create the balance in your life and the peace in your life. We've already presented what you need. You have now gotten to that place in your evolution that is chaotic. It feels like too much. It feels like a burden almost. It feels oppressive, but you have to take that sword and cut through that oppression because you have the ability and the power to create that peace. This is the Two of Swords. It's the last card that was pulled for this spread. And that's what this Two of Swords is about. It's about creating balance. It's about creating peace through any chaos that has occurred. Okay, there are so many things that are moving right now, moving parts to this whole puzzle or to this whole like machine that we're in. And a lot of times when you get to these points, you're like, okay, I'm good. I quit. You can't do any of that. You have to know that you have this power within yourself that has been presented to you, that has been given to you. Okay, even though you feel like you might be being held back. Your magic might be being held back by traditional thoughts. It's really that your mind is really stuck on the old ways. In the old ways, that old thought process thinks that you can't do this. Your old thought process thinks that you could not possibly be a light worker. You can't possibly be a psychic. You can't possibly be a business owner. You can't be a wife. You can't be a husband. You can't be a parent. You can't do this. That's what this staff is to me. It's the thoughts that hold you back from the magic that you are, right? And for those of us who are light workers, who are stepping more into our abilities, this staff is the old thought patterns that have been put into your mind that tell you that certain things aren't real, that certain things aren't possible, that these are only in movies. They put things in movies, I feel, to make you think it's fictional. Some people were just expressing the things that they experienced, and I understand, but don't think that because it's a movie and because it says fiction that it is fictional, because many things that have been in fiction movies happen every fucking day, right? So you want to take your Queen of Wands energy into this world. And you want to selfishly and egoically, not even totally egoic in a negative way. I'm talking about it might seem a little egoic, but you have to think and believe in what you feel. Don't listen to outside sources. Don't listen to what anybody has to say about your dreams and about your goals. These are for you because they were presented to you for a reason. So do not feel oppressed or burdened by your awakening and by your activation, because you have been given everything that you need to cut through this shit and create this new beginning that is presented to you, and and create the peace and the balance that is supposed to be in your life. There's no reason for you to doubt yourself right now. Right now is the time to feel organized and energized. Organizing what you are doing with your life is going to be key for you right now, because with this work that you're doing, you're going to have to get organized. You're going to have to be a little bit human about that aspect of you. And that's why I'm saying with those thoughts, with your thoughts, also that means you're planning. That means devising what it is that you're doing to make sure that you're going to produce what it is that you need to produce, right? So let's go to our shamanic healing cards. All right, let me do the shamanic healing cards. Ooh. Oh man. Yeah, it's usually I like to talk while I shuffle my shamanic healing cards. Right about now, it has been interesting trying to do this reading because, yeah, it's just like been a long time coming. I've tried and it didn't work out a few times. And now that I see this reading and how it's unfolding, I see why, because this message is so clear for us. And like I said, if you're seeing numbers right now, start to pay attention to the sequences, not just 333s, but you're going to start to see numbers that are kind of like 53, 53 or 64, 64. When you see numbers like that, write those numbers down, screenshot it, look it up and see what it means. Also look for words that are associated with these number sequences that you see, because the messages are starting to become very verbal. They're giving us more verbal messages so that it resonates even more with us, because they are understanding that a lot of us are feeling overwhelmed and we're getting so many messages at once that we're now asking for clarity. So they are giving us clarity. So if you have been asking for clarity, they are giving you clarity. So when you see things that look a little odd, that repeat, if you see 23, 23, 54, 54, whatever that is, look to see what's around it, look it up, see what it means. These are direct messages for you, and the messages are getting more specific. So if you ask, they are delivering. If you wanted clarity, they are giving us clarity. So please just look open for that and be aware of that. Whenever you ask and you're given, you are responsible to receive it. You're responsible to take care. You're responsible to actively look up and see the message that they're bringing to you. This is all about action. Evolution, activation, and awakenings are all about action. Thank you for that message. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for that message. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. So what's these cards gonna say? I want 5, and I'm gonna pull 5. I'm gonna pull the first 5. I'm not gonna just pick any random. I'm gonna pull the first 5 that I get after I shuffle 7 times. 7 times shuffling. Okay. And that was a message, by the way. Last shuffle. And I'm gonna pull 5 first. The first 5. One more shuffle. Okay. So we have sacred space. That's the first card. And you know, the other reading that I did that I lost, the first card was home. And that's and I said sacred space when I said that. So that's letting me know even more that this is the reading that we needed. This is the spread that we really needed. And this is the message for us. So sacred space, you want to create your sacred space. That is important. Why? Because this is where you're doing your works. Where can your sacred space be? Anywhere. Okay. Just because you don't have your own home does not mean that you don't have your own sacred space. When I say to let go of societal norms, I mean all sorts of ways. There are many people that live in all sorts of places with parents, in motel rooms, in cars. You live all sorts of places because we live in a society where we don't take care of each other. So we have to fend for ourselves oftentimes. And when we fend for ourselves, the definitions of home can be anything, but home is where your family is, home is where your love is, and that is where you make your peace. So if you are anywhere, you create your sacred space there. Okay, no matter where it is. My sacred space is in a bathroom. Why? Because there's no other place to fucking do it. So it's here. Okay, you make it where the fuck you can make it, but create your sacred space because you want that for us to grow. For you to be able to sit and think while you're thinking about your dreams. How are you working towards your goal? Create your sacred space for you to work in. That's how we're going to really connect. And now we have our feminine energy. Feminine energy is creative energy, right? So we're creating our sacred space. After everything that we said with this about really being the queen of wands through this shit, moving through this physical realm, working on our goals, not letting outside sources really control how we work on our goals, not feeling oppressed by our evolution and our activations, but really being empowered by all that has been given to us to create the balance in our life. And we have this feminine energy that's coming into that. The Queen of Wands is a huge feminine energy. And so in our shamanic healing cards, we see that as well, that we want to take this feminine energy into creation because the woman of the house is always, I feel, the most dominant person in that household. The man, he is definitely the leader, right? He is a leader in a certain aspect, but the woman is a leader too. I feel like they take turns leading because they both have aspects of themselves that are important for us to really evolve together. That's why it's so beautiful when you have a man and a woman or a feminine and masculine energy that come together because one dominates in certain ways and others dominate in other ways. And that balance, it creates such a strong force. And that's why it's important that when you have a feminine energy, you have a masculine energy, that they are both elevated to the same level and they are both independent. They are both confident. So when they come together, it creates such a powerful force. So the next part we have is struggle. It's an uphill battle. It is a struggle. An awakening is not easy at all. I mean, really, it's not easy at all. There's no coincidence that I just posted something like this and it's no coincidence that everybody was like, fuck yes, because it's not. You know, when you think about the changes that you're going through and the things that you have to now hold as true when people said it wasn't true. And also a lot of times, shit happens in your life, in your physical life, where you feel like giving up because so much is happening that you feel like maybe this isn't the right choice. Maybe I didn't make the right decision. And that's not true because when I go back to this feminine energy, I look at this and I feel creation. Pregnancy is hard as fuck. I mean, pregnancy is hard as fuck. First, you're sick for like 3 months. Throwing up, can't keep anything down, extremely tired, almost to the point where you can't even really keep your eyes open for more than 30 minutes. You're going through it, right? It's a complete struggle. Then you go through a time where you think you're okay, right? You think you're pretty good. This is exactly how an activation and awakening works. Then you get to your third trimester where now you got heartburn, you're swollen, you're bloated, you're so big you can't barely move, you can't barely sleep. In fact, you don't even sleep the last month, almost as a preparation, because once you have the baby, you ain't sleeping for another month. So it's a struggle, but look how beautiful it is to have a baby. Look how beautiful it is to create a life. The amazing beauty that comes in that struggle. And that is the same thing that happens with your activation and your awakening. You're going to have these struggles, but you have to go through these struggles to get through this beautiful time, right? Emotional releases. Release these emotions. Release all of the struggling feelings, all the feelings that come from the struggle, the doubts and the fears. You have to release those doubts and fears because what's happening is that those doubts and fears are coming in because the awakening's happening. You're going through your changes. And then all of a sudden, you're like, dude, maybe I'm wrong. Let go of these doubts and these fears. Release these things emotionally. Cry if you have to. It is nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with crying. Like, seriously, people don't want to cry a lot because it seems like you're weak. But crying is a very strong thing to do. Because what you're saying is that you are releasing this from you, releasing and you're letting go. That's strong as fuck to release shit and let it go, right? And our last card that we pull is past, present, and future. Okay. Now, how How amazing is this? Because I just was talking about your former self, who you are now, and who you are becoming. And a lot of us are in this middle portion here of the present where we have to let go of the past. We're looking to the future, and the present can be a little confusing and burdensome, right? Because we don't know where we're going, but we know we're going somewhere, and it's hard to let go of some of the things that we have to let go of for us to become what we're supposed to become. And really at this point, a lot of people are throwing their hands up like, fuck this shit. Like, fuck this shit. Maybe I just want to go back to the past, but you don't want to do that. Don't do that. Because going back to the past, like, I mean, if you want to, you can. But once you have been awakened, you can never go back to sleep. Okay? Once you know the truth, you can't unlearn the truth. So if you want to live in that shit, you can live in that. But it ain't going to be a life of peace or beauty or happiness, because you're constantly going to be reminded of what the truth is and what you know the truth is. And you're going to constantly be reminded that you quit. You're going to be reminded that you quit and you let go and you did not allow your process because you got scared or because it became hard and difficult. And that's just not something that you want to move in. I'm going to pull one more card just to close it off. And to close it off, we have new beginnings. New beginnings of balance, because we have the number 2 associated with that. That's a balanced new beginning that you're going to go through. So once we have gone through this, creating your sacred space is important so that you can do the work that you need for yourself to grow, to create. You want to keep that feminine energy of movement and go through these struggles that you're going through in your activation. But you have to go through these struggles. You have to release these emotions. You have to let things go. Cry if you have to. It's okay to cry, because you have to realize where you are in the present. The past is the past. The present is right now. And you can look to the future and say, that's where I'm going. This present right here, you have to really say to yourself, what am I going to let go of and what am I going to keep? That is important too, because you don't want to lose who you were totally, because who you were helped you become who you are today. And that's going to be some of those things about who you were is the very strength or the very thing that called you to being who you're going to be. Right? So you don't want to always let go of everything. Look to the past. Look to the present. What do I want to take of that former self? What do I want to take to the past? And what do I want to take to the future? Right? Because you have a new beginning that is coming. We all have this new beginning that is coming and that is happening right now. And it's a balance. And the last card of the last spread was a 2 of swords. And this is a 2. As well. And we have new beginnings of balance that are coming to us. So what I just want to do is just pray that everybody can sift through this energy. This energy is intense, it's full of doubt, and it's full of worry, and it's full of confusion. But you have to be confident in what you have already been given. You have been given all of the divine guidance that you need to press forward, and you can press forward and be successful. Let go of what is holding you back. Let it go, because all that's going to happen is once you let go, you're going to be now free to evolve to who you are supposed to become and who you know that you can be. We are all going through this together, so never think that you're alone. Whenever you feel like you're the only one, trust me, you are not. You're not. The universe will show you that as much as they can, that you are not the only one. So never give up on your goals. Don't give up on your dreams, and don't give up on your path. Okay? All right. Thank you, and I love you.